Well, joining me is a gentleman who's been involved in harness racing for over 6 decades. I caught up with Greg Lewis to find out how it began, right up until tonight, when Little Demon put up a very strong performance in the opening event at Club Menangle. Well, Greg, good to catch up with you. I got a surprise when I saw you here last week when I was having a chat with David Aiken, but good to see you back at Club Menangle tonight.
Thanks, Mick. It's good to be back, really.
Little Demon in the opening event went very nice.
Yeah, he's not a bad little pony. He's half brother to Jensen's pet, which he isn't a bad little pony either. I've got only working 3 horses, and they're all going good at the moment.
Any plans on expanding your team, Greg?
No, three's plenty at the moment. I'm getting a bit too long in the tooth to worry about any more at the moment.
Well, Greg, how did this journey in harness racing commence? I said over 6 decades in the business.
Yeah, I went across the road to a stable that old Jackie Davenport owned. I was only about 10 years old, and my father got a load of manure and he went home with it, and I stayed with the horses.
And you just fell in love with harness racing from that point onwards, or was it the horses that really attracted you?
The horses at first, and then virtually going down to Harold Park on weekends. I'd been only a kid on the side of the gig, and I really got a fancy to it.
What was your first memories of Harold Park in those days, which, as we all know, were the glory days?
Well, there was the blacksmith shop. I think his name was Porter. He ran the blacksmith shop, and sitting in the little jockey's grandstand there, and next to Herb Chant, he'd give up driving at the time, and he'd be talking to me and telling me a few things and a few stories and that.
There certainly would have been a lot of stories back in those days.
Oh yeah, the good old days, mate. We'll never get them back again.
So who started to influence your career, Greg, as you started to take a bigger interest in harness racing?
More or less Les Chant, Billy Hansel, and I think he was Billy Hansel's brother-in-law, Stevie West, and he was a real good money driver, but he got tragically killed in a fall, I think, at Kembla Grange. Yep.
What about Wally Wood?
Yeah, I worked for Wally for about 12 months, and him and Peter Woods was his driver at the time, and of course they wouldn't drive the rough ones. I ended up getting on the rough ones.
Greg, you had a successful career. One horse that certainly would bring back fond memories, Stormbro.
Yeah, Stormbro, he was a nice horse, a very nice horse. Hit his knee. Still held the record for 3,200 standing start at Harold Park right up until the last day, and well, that's a record that will never be broken now.
Oh, certainly won't. There were fond memories on that particular night. Carlu Mick won that particular race. What initiated the move to Victoria, Greg?
Just a change of scenery. Was getting a bit disenchanted with the way it was going in New South Wales, and we moved down before this complex got built. It was only they were only talking about it at the time, but no, we just had a change of scenery. That's all.
And you enjoyed success in Victoria. So what instigated the move back across the border?
Well, I come back. My partner Wendy. Still hurts. She passed away 2 years ago last August. And 65 acres and that, working horses and doing maintenance and that, it was just too lonely, you know. So I've got all family, I've got friends at Newcastle and that, so I decided to come back.
Enjoying the move back to Newcastle?
Yeah, good, because the 3 horses are going good, they're paying their way, and everything's rosy, you know. I've got a young girl. She's virtually my stable driver, Deanna Lindsay, and she's good friends with Gracie Panella, and Gracie drove the horse tonight, and poor old Brianna, she's doing a fortnight on the sideline, so Gracie took the reins for a while.
Well, as always, next time, as far as Brenna is concerned, she does drive very well, Greg. Just on the Menangle track, the new one, you have had a hit-and-run mission which proved to be very successful here not long ago.
Yeah, I brought up a horse that Steve bought to put in the old claimers, and he give it to me. He said, "Oh, I'll work it up, give it a few runs, and we'll see what we're going to do." And then he rang up and said, "Oh, I'm going to send the transport truck around to pick him up." I said, "What for?" He said, "I want to run him in the claimers at Menangle on the Tuesday." And I said, "Geez, bum." I said, "I'll bring him up." And I brought him up there, and I got Blake Fitzpatrick to drive him, and he got the money of $35.
Geez, that's a term I haven't heard for a long while, Greg.
Well, I could have said something else.
Yeah, Greg, one thing I did find out about you, we were having a bit of a reminisce earlier in the night. We both went to the same high school, Ibrox Park, out there at Leichhardt.
Yeah, Ibrox Park, yeah, and I went there with Les Cosklin, and I got Les involved in the harness racing, but no, I was born and bred in Leichhardt and ended up moving out Blacktown and all over, so...
Well, I was born and bred in Balmain, so we're virtually neighbours. But that was another surprise. I didn't know Les went to the high school as well, and the fact that you introduced him into harness racing.
Yeah, mate. Me and Les have been friends since high school, yeah.
Wonderful memories last week when you caught up with Akey.
Yeah, me and Akey followed the same football side, Parramatta, We have our good days, and boy, we have our bad days.
One thing that hasn't changed about you, Greg, and it was automatic that I saw you, immediately I saw you, I knew who it was, the moustache. The only thing is now it's got a lot greyer.
Mate, that's my trademark. If I shaved it off, no one will recognise me.
Greg, you got Movember made every year.
Yeah, but it's still not coming off.
Well, Greg, it's been great to catch you. Hopefully we're going to be seeing you in the winner's circle here at Menangle on a regular basis once again, but good to have you back in the state, and good luck with the future.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate.